Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com here. Today we're on the world's most misunderstood wine, sherry. Have you got friends who, when you serve them a wine that's a bit past its sell-by date, they smell it, pick it up and go, smells like sherry? What they mean is, it smells like that bottle of sherry that their grandmother had, that had been opened first in a long time ago, and from which you'd had a sip every Easter and bank holiday for the last 10 years. Any wine will suffer in that respect, and any wine will end up smelling oxidised and off. Proper sherry does undergo an ageing process, but it undergoes it in barrel. Well, for example, we've got first three wines? Yeah, first three wines here are what's called Fino style. So what happens is you make a regular wine, shove it in a barrel, and there's this special yeast culture that grows on the surface of the wine called flaw, and it's like a white yeasty substance, sits over them. It keeps them fresh, but also imparts flavours to the wine, like an appley, bready, yeasty character. Once that character, that stuff has died off, then the wine starts to do its aging proper. Most people, if you're making a Fino style, we'll get on to Fino when we taste the first wine, they would have bottled that already. They will have bottled it while there's still that level of flaw, topped it up with new wine. So what's happening is that you're always getting a reasonably fresh wine from under this flaw. It still means that the typical Fino, the first wine taken out, is maybe 5, 6, 7 years old. What then happens is, as the yeast dies off, and then the wine carries on doing its aging in the barrel and turns into what's called an amontillado. Age a bit longer and it becomes an Oloroso, stick some sweet stuff in and it becomes a sweet Oloroso or a cream sherry, and there's a few weirdies on the way which we haven't got time to deal with today. Anyway, Fino. Actually, we've got two Finos and we've got a Manzanilla. There's three sherry towns. San Luca de Barrameda, the Fino style made there is actually called Manzanilla. That's wine number 3. The first two we've got are made around Jerez and Puerto. And so anyway, let's dig in with the first one. The Society's Fino, made by Sanchez Romate. 15% alcohol. Boy, I haven't stuck my nose in and I can already smell it jumping out of the glass. There's this lovely bright, well, I've just tasted a load of muscadets. I used the word briny just too much in that one, but here, honestly, it's like someone there's a wave washing through the door. It smells rich and it smells heady, and there's this bit of iodine and there's a bit of petrol in there. It smells like classic Fino sherry. It smells delicious. It smells like it's going to be quite rich, and it is rich. It's got this juiciness, pear, apple, this bready intensity, and then that spine of brine that it should have. The thing about a wine like this is it's got that today. It's a wine. Don't, if you can, get it through it all at one sitting. Not if there's just one of you, but honestly, I mean, I opened a bottle of Fino a few weeks ago. Had a glass on the Monday, had a glass on the Tuesday, and then forgot about it. By the time it was Saturday, sitting there watching Match of the Day, thinking I just fancy something, it had lost it. It had lost all the things that made it so lovely and attractive on first couple of days. And when you've got something that's tight and fresh, I mean, if you just think about would you open a bottle of Sauvignon Blanc, New Zealand Sauvignon, on a Monday and expect it to be still be in good condition come the weekend? No, it's the same with sherry. Well, it's certainly the same with the Fino and Manzanilla style, but it's pretty delicious. That yeah, quite rich for Fino, but it's got that spine-tingling tang. Let's see whether Waitrose's Fino del Puerto, made by Lustau, can compete. Oh, this almost magnifies all the tangy bits there. This bready, yeasty character just goes woo. The fruit is sharp and vibrant. Woo. And it's a lighter, finer style. Oh, that's delicious. I mean, it's the first one was good, but this one has just got a daintiness about it, which just is so attractive. Ripe is the wrong word for it. It's just confident, healthy, lean, appealing. It's honestly, when this tasting is finished, I'm going to pour myself a big glass of that and see if I've got any. I don't think I've got any olives around, but even something like a bag of crisps with that would be. Whoa. Yeah, English tapas, bag of crisps and a sausage roll. We'll go for that. That's brilliant. I think it's about £8 a bottle. I mean, I can't think of any other wine regions in the world that can produce wine that standard for £8. Let's see if the Manzanilla, same guys, is any better. And there is more of the sea character about this one. It feels like it's the first one was rich. This one feels like it's going to be rich. The one in the middle was fine, but yeah, it feels like there's an extra layer of corpulence here. Whereas keep going back. Oh, that's still really tasty. Yeah, brine, iodine. It's a very different, definitely something of the sea going on in there. I would like to have seen it with that daintiness that that there was in the Fino, but still really good wine. And if the Fino hadn't been there, I'd probably be raving about it. Hey, I certainly wouldn't complain if someone gave me a glass or two of that. Let's go slightly up the ladder now. We haven't got any Amontillados today. We've got the next stage on, Oloroso. But people think of Oloroso as being a sweet sherry. Well, I've got 2 sweet ones and two dry ones. So starting off with the dry one, again from Lustau and Waitrose's Solera Jerezana range. And one thing you'll see is from the colour, that you can see against my Dayglow shirt. It's got this much more copper amber colour to it, and that's because the floor on the first 3 is keeping them not only protected it's keeping them protected, keeping them fresh and young. As soon as that floor dies off, they start aging, and the longer you leave something in barrel, the deeper and darker in colour it gets. Well, classic raisins, figs, a bit of burnt sugar, a bit of iodine. I get this character of iodine in these 3 Lustau sherries. Remember back to your chemistry lab, iodine's not all that far away. It's got a slightly purpley brown tinge to it. Not that I'm a student of iodine, you understand. But it smells like rich fruit cake, but it smells like it's going to be dry. And it's going to be one of those that makes your scalp itch ever so slightly. Yeah, it's all those Christmas cake fruits and spices. Dates, walnuts, candied fruit, raisins, crystallised peel, and there's this smoky edge as well, that smoky iodine character. Again, you can taste that it's been made in a place rather than made in a factory by an automaton. It's got loads and loads of personality here. Again, bargain wine, £8. See now, whereas the first 3 you wouldn't be able to leave a bottle open for too much once you'd opened them. You need to polish it off straight away. Something like that, because it's done a lot of aging in barrel, it will have started to do that oxidation, which will have brought it to that colour. And so if you could open something like that, yeah, happily leave it for a couple of weeks. Don't leave it too much longer. I mean, it will last, but it will just lose. You're getting a fraction of what the wine should be, and at that price, get through it quickly, get another bottle. Next one, made by Sanchez Romate, the Society, that's the Wine Society. The first one was the Society's regular Fino. This one and the final one are from what they call their exhibition range. So it's a Viejo, old Oloroso. Much deeper colour, the first thing you notice. That was amber. This is most definitely treacle toffee brown, so that's an indication of a much older wine. And I don't know whether there is any, there's a grape that they use to sweeten sherries called Pedro Ximenez. So if you need take your teeth out to say Pedro Ximenez, but there's something of the treacle toffee character here. Again, you're getting those walnut, raisin, very fig, date characters here as well. Lovely, rich, full, fleshy, tangy. It's got this warmth and it's got this savoury intensity. It's almost sweet and sour. Maybe not sour, but sweet and savoury. It's got this sweetness of figgy fruit and this savoury brine character. And the yeastiness still comes through. There's a character there that's almost like one of those beers like Old Peculiar that's made with a lot of dark malt in. Let's see how these final two are. So these are the sweet one. This one doesn't say Oloroso on, but it's basically an Oloroso that's been pepped up with some Pedro Ximenez to sweeten it. Interesting. It's not quite as deep in colour as the Viejo Oloroso was. It's still quite dark. I can't quite work out whether they've got. Let's have a sniff. Whether they've got like a reasonably young Oloroso and put some old PX in there, or they've done it the other way around. Certainly from the smell of it, I'd say that because the fruit characters that you're getting there, they're more the ones I associate with a young sweet wine, and with an old drier wine, young sweet wine. So because I'm getting things like marmalade, barley sugar, almost like muscat type characters that are coming through. But again, a bit of that treacle toffee, not as intense as the one before, and the Christmas cake characters. It was always going to suffer after the Viejo Oloroso. What I find, it feels almost like a bit too young and simple next to the authoritarian Viejo Oloroso. What I like about it is it's not too sweet. This barley sugar, orange, crystallised orange, it's more the crystallised fruit maybe than the orange marmalade character. And maybe a bit of pineapple in there too. Now what would I have that with? That's almost like more blue cheese type of wine. I think that maybe that sweetness would sit nicely with a creamier edge of blue cheese, something like Gorgonzola, Dolce, something like that. Maybe Stilton's just a bit too much for it. Stilton probably go really nicely with the next one. Let's give that a go. Viejo Oloroso Dulce. Savoury, brine, treacle toffee, and whereas this one felt simple and sweet, this one feels, like Brian Blessed type of rich sweetness, hearty sweetness. Yeah, it's got that extra layer of seriousness and severity and authority that the Waitrose one lacked. You're getting all this figgy, rich fruitcake complexity, and the sweetness is not out and out bash you around the head, decay your gums type of sweetness. It's a rounded sweetness, and for those who maybe found the Viejo Oloroso that bit too stern, this just gives it a little bit, it calms it down. It sort of says undo your top button, take your tie off, and relax a bit. So yes, I think that would be really lovely with some Stilton. Again, Christmas cake, I'd be very happy to have that with some Christmas cake, but end of the meal type of stuff. So if you're looking for an alternative to port at the end of one of your Christmas meals, that would be a delicious one to have. But I also think the Viejo Oloroso, the dry one, would be smashing too. But fabulous range of wine. My favourite of the Waitrose ones by far was the Puerto del Fino, or was it Fino del Puerto? And certainly the Viejo Oloroso was magnificent, and I'll definitely be hogging those in the next few days. See you soon.